Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown. I'm here to talk about just Final Fantasy. You guys know how I feel about Final Fantasy overall. I don't hate the franchise. Obviously, I fucking love it. I mean, without Final Fantasy, I wouldn't make my game the way I have made it. You know, Final Fantasy Legends, which is Saga in Japan, which some people might not consider it as a Final Fantasy game, but to people here in the United States, might not have chocobos, might not have Moogles, might not even have quote unquote job classes, they're what we know as job classes, but it's still fondly remembered as a Final Fantasy game. I love Final Fantasy Legends 1, 2, and 3. 3 is fucking amazing. The soundtrack is fucking amazing. And I love that there is character development with at least with the first game. I know the other games have character development too, but at least with the first game, you can pick any character you want, and they literally have a voice. You know, you don't see that in a lot of video games. I mean, you kind of do. You know, when you, especially like wrestling video games, you know, like if you're playing a WWE wrestling game, you make a character and you put a voice on them and you can use them during storytelling. That's not really new, obviously. It's just that other ones have perfected it a lot more. At least with my game, I did a custom creation, but it's very limited. It's like you have attack, defense, and magic, and you can pick which one. If you say no, it goes to the next slot of like attack 2, attack a defense 2, and magic 2, and it show. And when you click on it, if you click on any of those, especially if you say no to defense 2 or attack 2, you go to defense 3 or attack 3 and magic 3. It just shows what layers of custom creation characters you can get. And when you press attack on 1 or 2 or 3 slots, basically, it will show the character you're about to get, basically. Because in my game, you have like a little Shimigami logo with the sucker and the triangle, which is the TheSkullKlown's tail, the main characters. It's his tail, but you can put it in the back of the party, which is cool, or in front of the party when you go to custom creation suite, basically, and pick the characters that you want. Again, it's limited, but it's there to feel like, oh, okay, there's more characters in this game than just, you know, the main heroes and the main heroine, basically, you know? So it's like that. So I wanted to have like that character type of development of like, oh, okay, oh, I fought Cthulhu. I can play as Cthulhu? Why fighting Cthulhu? Cthulhuception. You know? So there is that. Yes, I did that in my game. But the reason I mention that is because custom creation stuff is just really, really fun. And when you see that, and when you kind of see how it is in Final Fantasy Legends, yes, there's no custom creation, but there's custom of you changing the name, you picking what type of job class you have, and that's really it. And the dialogue is still the same, no matter what character you choose, which is pretty cool. I think I like that one bit. Some people might not like it, but I like it. The fact that you can pick any character you want in Final Fantasy Legends, and you can still get you can still get the story. It's fucking fascinating in my opinion. You know, it's not like some of these other games when, especially like my game, when you pick a character, you play through the story, and that character talks with their dialogue. Basically, you know, it's not like if I pick and say if you have CLOWN in your party, right? But you have another character that's in your party, but that's not really talking in the party. I mean, it's in the party and they talk sometimes, but they're not talking as much as everyone else is, and that is fine, you know. And then with my custom creation is like, hey, you have the Shimigami tail, the Shimigami logo with the sucker and the triangle, which is the tail. You go to the custom creation suite and it changes the name. Like, for example, it will be Alice. They have magic abilities. You can also attack, basically, and they do what they do what Alice does, basically. And yes, it's a reference to, yes, Alice in Wonderland, but mostly closer to Shin Megami Tensei, basically, because there's an Alice monster character of Shin Megami Tensei in that game, and she's just great. Once you have the Alice character of Shin Megami Tensei, you could keep her for the rest of the game if you wanted to. You don't have to, but it would be cool if you did. I mean, obviously there's limit. Eventually some Shin Megami games was like, hey, you have to change your character. In other Shin Megami games, you'd be like, you want to keep it? Go right ahead. You could change it all you want, but you can keep it too. You know, mostly Shin Megami games will encourage you to switch monsters. You know, some Shin Megami games are not really going to tell you, yeah, keep that monster. You like it? Keep it. You know? A lot of Shin Megami games will never tell you that because they want you to change and actually keep progressing through the combat system and how it works, which I love. Again, I'm gushing with Shin Megami while I'm talking about Final Fantasy. But moving on, I just wanted to explain how it is. I know it's been 5 minutes and also explaining how my game is too. I apologize. Something that I'm making an RPG Maker Fez, and I just got done making the custom creation suite. I just need to add one more character in and that's it. And then I can move on to finish one more thing and literally the game is 100% complete. It's like about 90 to 95% complete. It's literally almost done. Now I can show it off, finally. But I want to make a trailer first. But moving on with that. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has a special place in my heart. I love Final Fantasy. I do. Final Fantasy 9 is a fucking masterpiece of a game in my opinion. I love Final Fantasy 13. I know it has its haters or its criticisms. Trust me. I get it. I do. But I still love it. Flaws and all. Flaws and all. I love the Final Fantasy 13 games. I do. Oh, that means you hate Final Fantasy 6. No, I love Final Fantasy 6. I put it right next to Final Fantasy 9. My #1 Final Fantasy game of all time is Final Fantasy 9. You can't beat that game. Despite how much I love Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 cannot beat Final Fantasy 9. I'm sorry. And I love Final Fantasy 13, you know? And by the way, before I get moving on, did you know in the Shin Megami, did you know in Dissidia, in the mobile game, for Final Fantasy, Dissidia Final Fantasy, guess who was the most played? Lightning. Lightning was the most played, right next to Cloud. How come you guys are hating Final Fantasy 13? How come you guys don't mention that? Hey, tell me. Because in Japan, they love Lightning. In Japan, they love her. They do. Yes, believe it or not, for those of you that can't fathom this, in Japan, Lightning is an icon. More better than fucking Cloud. Oh, I bet that hurts your little fucking ego, doesn't it? Well, too fucking bad. Because Final Fantasy 7 is not, it's good, but it's not as great as everyone puts it out to be. It's not. It's a good game. Good Final Fantasy game. But compared to 9, compared to 10, compared to 8, compared to 6, oh, you put Final Fantasy 6 and 7 in the room, and Kefka is just gonna kill Sephiroth. Good. Fucking mama's boy piece of shit. No, don't be that mama's boy here. Kefka just wants to destroy the world. He wants to destroy everything. And then, not give a fuck if you survived or not. You know, it's just, and then he's on his throne like, yeah, I destroy the world. I'm bored. Fine, I guess I'll fight you. You know? Kefka, man. Kefka is still one of the best villains in Final Fantasy history, man. Right next to Caius. Yeah, I said it. You want to criticize Final Fantasy 13? You haven't witnessed and you haven't experienced Caius. Caius and Noel and Yule, those 3 characters right there. Those 3 characters, if Kingdom Hearts went more deep and more creative of what they could have been, Sora would have been Caius, Rika would have been Noel, and Yol would have been Kairi. Because Caius is literally Saga if he went to the dark side. Noel is literally like, fuck, like what happens if Sora, the main character, the main hero, went to the dark side? You know, there's no like fan theories of like, oh, what if Master Masters looks like Sora? We're not talking about that. You know, we're talking about what if Caius was Saga? You know, I'm telling you, man, the Kingdom Hearts franchise probably would have been more fucking interesting than what we got, to be quite honest with you. And shout out to Gummy if you're watching this, man, because you and I said this before, man, a long time ago. Missed opportunities with some Kingdom Hearts stuff, and it was. There was so many missed opportunities with this franchise. You mean to tell me you couldn't put Aya Brea, Parasite Eve? You know? Oh, because she has a gun. But yet, Clayton has a gun in Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's just fine? So a Disney character can hold a gun, but not a Final Fantasy or Square Enix character. What? Sounds like you're, double standard. And I don't like double standards like that sometimes, man. Sometimes it's needed, other times it's not. It depends what the double standard is. I'll say that. I will say that. Because it does depends what it is. You know? If the double standard is a flaw compared to something else that you want to prefer that's not a flaw, then what do? You prefer the other half, you know? It's almost like Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, how I mentioned that review. In that review, or the video that I mentioned, I was like, why is Joker just put the mutant gene to himself and to his comrades when he could have just literally used it and produced it more and sell it all over the world. Not just Gotham, all over the world, Metropolis, and again, all over the world. And Joker would have made fucking bucks, and he would just been standing there fucking laughing, be like, Batman's never going to stop this. You know? That's the Joker that I know. That he will mass produce that shit. Not take it himself. You know? Again, no flaws with Batman versus the Ninja Turtles. No flaws with that. I have some criticisms, some like, I don't know, nitpicks. But overall, watch Batman versus the Ninja Turtles movie. Please do. It's amazing. It's good. It's amazing. And Harley Quinn, have my babies. Anyways, moving on. How do I feel about Final Fantasy overall as of 2026? Final Fantasy, as of right now, is one of the greatest franchises of all time that's being misled by a company that does not give a fuck about their fucking franchise anymore. It's pretty, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Seriously, when Expedition 33 and the TheSkullKlown versus Kingdom of Kazu can do better than Final Fantasy, and when the same company is making other games that I don't care for, like Octopath Travelers, and everyone is praising it and shit like that, when that is getting more of like thumbs up than Final Fantasy, that's a problem. That's their main light. That's the main light, bread and butter. That's what keeps the lights on for them. And it's not working. And I'm not saying Final Fantasy should go back to turn-based. It would be cool. It'd be nice. We did got that with World of Final Fantasy. And I don't get to complain with World of Final Fantasy because that's literally a love letter to Final Fantasy. Oh, the story and the characters. You can't watch an anime then. You can't watch anime. You can't watch anime, or you can't put your expectations to the side to the point that you should see the forest from the trees, not expecting what you should get instead of giving it what you do have. There's no Final Fantasy VII Remake bullshit. At least World of Final Fantasy is its own thing and actually is a love letter to Final Fantasy, whether you like it or not. It is a love letter to Final Fantasy. And I know you haven't played that game, mainly because that game has more balls and more freaking character development than freaking anything that you see in Final Fantasy Modern today. Okay? Seriously. I try to play Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise. Demo crashes on me. Try to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. The gameplay fucking bored me to death. I thought it would be cool. I saw the gameplay for Final Fantasy VII Remake and I was like, you know what? It has that kind of Parasite Eve type of theme. That's why I was kind of like asking, but it's not fully there. They want to have their cake and eat it too, So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll give them a little bit of leeway. And then I'll stop playing it and I'm just like, I don't know, it's not really engaging with me. And most people are like, well, you play the demo. You didn't play the full game. Maybe we'll engage you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I play the demo and the demo doesn't do justice for me, then I'm not playing the main game. That's just how I am. Hey, if you like Final Fantasy VII Remake trash, go right ahead. Everyone has to like trash anyways. Hey, I like trash too. I like bad movies. I like bad video games as much as the next person. But you still need to step back and tell yourself, hey, is this game really going to be good? We all have a little, guilty pleasures, and that's fine. Maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake is a guilty pleasure for you. And that is fine. If it's a guilty pleasure for you, that's fine. But don't play this game thinking that, oh, this is the exact same thing as Final Fantasy VII, the original. I want to say one thing. I was playing Ever Crisis, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis on my phone. You know, to give it a chance, just a chance. It kicked me out multiple times. It even kicked me out when the phone shut off, and it just kicked me out. Brand new phone, and it does that crap. So should I spend $1,000 million phone so it won't fucking do that crap? And then you're gonna make me play Final Fantasy VII when I want to play the other ones, like the prequels, like maybe Crisis Core or Sephiroth's backstory, which I don't care for, but maybe I want to play it. Maybe I want to be like, you know what? Let's see what they have. You know, I might not like what they did here, but let's see what they have. No, you need to unlock the other ones before you unlock this. Or pay us. Most likely it is that. They want you to play a full game, or they want you to pay for that shit. No, I'm not doing that. So I deleted Ever Crisis from my phone because every time I try to play it, either I barely played it at all, or it shuts off, kicks me out. So yeah, forget it. I wanted to give Ever Crisis a chance. I wanted to give Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis a chance. I really did. Because it's exactly what we wanted from a remake of Final Fantasy. Do Final Fantasy 1 through Advent Children. They did it in the mobile version. And yet, they, for some fucking pissed off reason, they can't do that with the PlayStation version. What the hell is wrong with you, Sqawn? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know? And the thing is, when I was playing Ever Crisis, I was like, you know what? They could have changed a few things here, and that's fine. They don't have to do 1-for-1 as a remake of the PlayStation 1. We have that. We could just download it on our PSN if we wanted to, right? But yet, they wanted to do 1-for-1 of a remake. Okay, for the ones that wanted to have that, that's fine. That's fine, and I don't have a complaint about that. But why you didn't do that HD quality like you did with Final Fantasy VII Remake? You see? Some bullshit. Some bullshit. And then you want to be like, you know what? Fans wanted that? Here, let's put it on mobile and then make them pay for shit. You don't have to, but we're going to make you to. Oh, you want to play the other ones? Well, I can play for that too. That's Square Enix. And you wonder why I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about this company anymore, man. Oh, we're not going to take we're not going to take some of the stuff we saw in Expedition 33 to put in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Okay, some people got disappointed at that, but me, that actually makes sense. Why? Because you want to be consistent with the gameplay. You don't want to automatically change it. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. Sorry, I love you, but you completely changed it to the point that I'm just like, you can't at least give me a freaking monster character right next to you, like you did in Final Fantasy 13 too. That's the one criticism I have with Lightning Returns. I'll probably have more later on when I do talk about the game, but that's the one thing that I have criticized for that game, and that's the only thing. You could have had a fucking Moogle as your freaking monster right next to you, and I would have been fine with it. But no, we don't do that. Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 could have been a mix of the original Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13 2. Why was that so hard? The gameplay is fun. The gameplay is good. I like the gameplay. But why you couldn't just, you know, like, this is a company that likes to have their cake and eat it too. And I'm surprised they didn't do that with this game. With Lightning Returns. But, hey, the game is still fun. I still like the game. You know, like I said with Final Fantasy 13, flaws and all, I still love the 3 games. Hey, that's more than I can say with the Final Fantasy 10 crowd. You got 10, 10-2, 10-3. Yeah, we're gonna nuke it to make sure we don't make part 3. And also, we're gonna use the PlayStation 3 picture gallery to show all of that with the dialogue between Tidus and Yuna breaking up because it was, or because because Yuna saw Tidus with a girl and she thinks that they're together and now they're breaking up and shit. Who put this shit here? Who put that shit there, man? Still to this day, I haven't seen nothing on YouTube. Maybe there is something on YouTube, but still to this day, I haven't seen nothing on YouTube that literally did this talks about this controversial shit with Final Fantasy X/3. You know, it's so ridiculous. This company is trying so hard to literally say fuck you, and every time they do it. They do it. Seriously, man. They did it with Dragon Quest. They still doing it with Dragon Quest. And I don't know why you guys are not seeing it. Seriously. You know? I don't have to mention the video that I made with Dragon Quest 7 Reimagining. You could watch that video. Seriously, I don't have to mention it here. Alright, this is about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is wonderful. It's great. But the company that owns it doesn't think it's great anymore. So they want to change it to the point that they think it is going to become great. But guess what? It's not. It's just the same corporate bullshit that you've been pulling out for quite a while now. Some people even say after the PS1 era. You know? There's different opinions when it comes to Final Fantasy right now. Some people look at Final Fantasy 1 and 3 and they say, that's it. Final Fantasy 4 to 6, fuck them. I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. There's people out there that say that. It might not be a lot, but there are people out there. You know? And there's people out there that played 1 through 9 and they were like, fuck 10, fuck 11, fuck 12, fuck 13, fuck 14, fuck 15 and 16. You know? And then there's other people that were like 4 through 6 and everything else, fuck off. Other people, 7 through 9, fuck off. Can I blame the fan base or do I have to blame Square Enix? I'm going to blame Square Enix. It is good to experiment. It is good to put things that you put things in your game that, hey, will be cool for this as an experiment. Oh, you don't like it? Well, okay, wait until the next game. And I don't mind that at all. I don't. But at the same time, you should be kind of consistent. Kinda. Like, that's just me. Because in Final Fantasy 1 through 3, you were consistent. Even through 4 through 6, you were consistent. Then through 10, I mean, well, yeah, 1 through 9, you were consistent and all that stuff. But with 10, you went back to the basis of 1, which is cool. Then 11, it was online. 12, which was more online, but was still for consoles, which I still loved the gameplay for 12. I like Final Fantasy 12. I do. Seriously. I need to go back to that game and finish it, but overall, from what I played, I like it. I do. I fucking like it. Final Fantasy 13, I don't have to mention that. You guys already know how I feel about that. I even made a separate video of Final Fantasy 13. 15 had something, but good God, man. What a drop. What a drop. That's how you drop the ball right there, man. Seriously. And I don't blame the person that took over Nomura, because Nomura couldn't fucking make his fucking mind up of what Final Fantasy 15 should be. You know? So I don't blame the guy that took over Final Fantasy 15. Because they already had to deal with a whole bunch of shit that was there. And he's just like, take out, keep, take out, keep, take out, keep. I'm doing my best here, basically, you know? Agito 13, Type 0. Should have been Final Fantasy 15. Yup, I said it. Final Fantasy, Agito, Final Fantasy, Type 0. Should have been called Final Fantasy 15, at least here in the United States. Because in Japan, they already had that game. All right? I even have a memory card on my PSP having that demo, or the full game, I believe, of the Japanese version of Agito, Final Fantasy Agito. and was part of the Final Fantasy 13 series. So while Final Fantasy 15 just literally nuked or neutered everything that was part of Final Fantasy 13, Agito Type 0 did not. It kept it. It kept it and it wore it on its sleeve. And I love it for it. I love it for it. Despite everyone criticized how 13 was, Agito Type 0 still was just like, I'm keeping it on my sleeve. You like it, cool. You don't? Well, you know what? I'm only one Final Fantasy game compared to millions of them. So fuck off. Seriously. You know how many side Final Fantasy games we got? Arena of Faith doesn't even get talked about all that much. And Final Fantasy Arena of Faith should be a mainline Final Fantasy game. Yup, I said it. Final Fantasy Arena of Faith should have been a mainline Final Fantasy game. Period. Period. Oh, but it's not turn-based. Period. I'm not even a big fan of the gameplay, but the story and characters was meant to be mainline contended. If you haven't played Final Fantasy Arena of Faith, even if you haven't beat it or haven't gotten that far, you played from the beginning into the part when you were exploring and all that stuff, and you told yourself, this is what? Why was this not a mainline series? What the fuck? You know? So many side Final Fantasy games should have been part of the main saga. The main, numbers. Like Final Fantasy Dimensions. I've been wanting that game for years, but it's stuck on mobile. And I want Final Fantasy Dimensions and Dimensions 2, if any, just for icing on the cake, to be released either on the Switch, PlayStation. I mean, we have the Switch too, so fuck that crap. Just put it on the original Switch. But put it on new modern hardware. I've seen my friend play PC games and mobile games on the PlayStation. So why the fuck you can't do that, Square? Why you can't do that? It can't be that hard. You mean to tell me you can't shell out a couple of bucks for you to do that? Oh wait, that's right, you can't, because you have to freaking put it with Final Fantasy VII Remake garbage. That's why people are not hyped with Final Fantasy VII Part 3. No one doesn't know what's going to be like. I don't even know what's going to be like. And I guarantee you the developers don't know how it's going to be like either. Because they want to have their cake and eat it too, kill Aerith off, and then all of a sudden have these fucking whispers that I put in my video game so you can kill them. Thank you, by the way. Yes, I'm telling you, man, my game is an answer to Square Enix, man. It is. My game is literally an answer to Square Enix. I'm not saying my game is a masterpiece or it's good, but it is the answer to Square Enix. Seriously. And it has 3 types of gameplay styles to keep things fresh and new. Alright? You got normal turn-based, you got card combat like Twisted Metal. It's still turn-based, by the way. These are all turn-based. And 3 types of platforms that you see in, if you play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and you're in Agrabah and you're fighting Jafar, those 3 platforms, yeah, I have that in my game. I took that shit from my game. Alright? And it is just, a synthetic type of thing. You see the platforms there, but you need to chase the death bubble and stuff like that. And there's like a big arena with the platforms there. The platforms don't go up and down and all of that. They're just there as synthetic, but you could just go around them sometimes. And sometimes the death bubble moves around and you have to go to the death bubble before the boss comes after you to literally kill you or put a status effect on you before you start the battle, before you go to the death bubble and start fighting the boss, So let me know how you guys feel about that. I liked it. When I first did it, I was like, cool. But then I was like, oh man, should I have it for the random battles and all that? I don't know. Because I wanted to do it, but then I knew I would have wasted more space and want to have enough space to put other stuff. At least what I was thinking. So I decided to just put it for bosses. And it worked. It really worked. So I can't wait to show it off eventually, guys. But again, I just wanted to discuss it real quick. So overall, Final Fantasy as a franchise is in limbo. Will it die off? I'll say if Square Enix makes 5 more Final Fantasy games and they completely flop, either this series is completely done or Square Enix has to sell Final Fantasy. Not Square Enix, Final Fantasy. And I guarantee you, I smell Capcom and I smell Sega right around the corner. I am dead serious. Because if Sega's doing good with Atlas making fucking Shin Megami Tensei, hey, if Atlas can make Final Fantasy great again, I'm all ears and I'm all ready. But if they're gonna fuck it up, then we have a problem. Especially if Capcom grabs it. I'm just picking random companies. Hell, Square, for crying out loud, Rockstar can grab Final Fantasy. You know, imagine how that would be. Oh God, for crying out loud, freaking what is it? Naughty Dog can buy Final Fantasy. Oh God, oh God, I don't want to think about that. I will literally croak. I will literally bust an artery just by thinking about it. Seriously, if that happened. I would literally have a heart attack if I heard that right now. Oh, by the way, Naughty Dog bought the Final Fantasy rights. Literally. I would literally croak. Seriously. And you know what? At the end of the day, I would have been fine. At least I would have died peacefully. But what's other things I could talk about, man? I think that's really it. Tell me what you guys think down below about how I said with this video. How do you feel about Final Fantasy overall? What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? Overall. Again, Final Fantasy 9 is always going to be my #1 Final Fantasy game of all time, especially if you played the other Final Fantasy games. Even if you didn't play, even if you didn't beat those Final Fantasy games, you at least played them enough to cherish and love Final Fantasy 9 to the point that you were like, I'm beating this fucking game. I'm beating it. And I beat Final Fantasy 9, and I fucking love that game. Fucking love it. Oh, there's going to be a Final Fantasy 9 remake. Ugh. Oh, there's going to be a Final Fantasy 9 animated series. Ugh. Won't you want that? Or animated series? Oh, of course. But if Square Enix can fuck up The World Ends With You animated series, then they gonna fuck up Final Fantasy 9. This is modern Square Enix. They don't do good things anymore. They rather do low-budget shit. How come the Octopath Traveler series hasn't got a 3D remaster, or not even 3D remaster, or 3D game like you see in Final Fantasy VII Remake? Wouldn't the Octopath Traveler fan base be happy about that? Don't they deserve that? But no, you're gonna make everything fucking pixelated, and I don't mind those pixelated graphics. I don't. I love it. But when you're relying on it to the point that there's no, different types of art style, that comes to the point that it's frustrating, to the point that you don't have no creativity or no art style to literally branch off with. You're just keeping the same fucking goddamn art style. You're not fucking changing it. Even Looney Tunes change their fucking art style. Get at me. I bet you're going to tell me that I'm wrong. Of course you will, because you didn't study or even look at old Looney Tunes crap. Looney Tunes goodness. Yes. Bugs Bunny back in the day didn't look like what he looks like now. Okay? So don't get at me. Okay? Even Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, didn't even look like what they used to look like until right now. So don't fuck with me with that crap. Alright? You should see the original design for Mickey Mouse. And I'm not talking about what iWorks made. I'm talking about the sketch that Walt Disney made. Before iWorks changed it. Yeah, I'm going there. You see what I'm talking about? But that's it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, man. And continue on playing some RPGs. Continue on knowing thyself, doing what you need to do. And yeah, man, Final Fantasy is a great franchise, but it's being misled by corrupt motherfuckers that don't want Final Fantasy to thrive. They want to say they want to thrive on it, but they're not working as hard of it. For kind of out, Final Fantasy, even in Japan, they're over here like, okay. Final Fantasy's becoming a joke over there, though, bro. sisters. That's not good. When Final Fantasy is becoming a joke in Japan, that is how you have a problem. It shouldn't be a joke. I just want Square Enix to go back to what they used to back in the Super Nintendo era. I grew up during the Super Nintendo era. I never said I got the consoles or the games. I had to wait until later life to do that, obviously. But I played other Final Fantasy games on the Game Boy, and when I got a mobile device, I downloaded them anyways. You know? So, these games, man, it's so sad how Square Enix was just like, huh? Oh, we don't care about that anymore. That's in the past. That's our old history. We want our new shit. We want the new shit that you guys like. And that's why when I look at Final Fantasy VII Remake, I guarantee you Square Enix in the future is going to be pushing that more than the original Final Fantasy. Because that's what they wanted. And the creator that made Final Fantasy VII is just like, what the fuck are you doing? The creator of Final Fantasy, the man himself, is literally looking at Square Enix and he's like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And even there's people in the company that literally said that, yeah, once the creator left, everything became so corporate that I was just like, I'm leaving. Some people left once the creator left. I would too. If the guy that created Final Fantasy left the fucking building, then I would leave too. What's there more to be? To be quite honest with you. Seriously. That's just me, man. That's just me. Final Fantasy should be on a gold mine right now. And it's not. It should be right next to Expedition 33 and Elden Ring and all those other games like Mass Effect and shit like that. It should be right next to them right now. And it's not. It's not. Why isn't it? Because this company stopped caring. Even if you didn't like Final Fantasy 13, at least they had a vision. At least they had a thrive and a passion to push something. For crying out loud, if you look at the freaking Final Fantasy, where is it? Do I have the book around me? I don't think so. But if you looked at the Final Fantasy 13 book, the guidebook, they made fucking languages. Like you saw in 10. Yes, it wasn't talked about as much as you see in 10, but it was still there. They actually put effort and put another language, and they showed you what the letters mean in ABC order. They didn't have to do that. Yeah, they did it with 10, but they didn't have to do it with 13. They didn't even have to do it with 10 either. But the fact that they did it just goes to show how much they actually give a fuck. You know? Sometimes projects, when people make projects, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's not successful. Sometimes people look at it and it's dog shit. But it finds their fan base. And that fan base is going to look at it and be like, no, this was good. This is actually has heart and purpose compared to the other shit that we have now. You know? And people thought that was the down low of Final Fantasy 13. Well, how do you feel about it now, motherfuckers? Seriously. Now it's worse than it's ever been, right? Now it's worse than it's ever been. That's what I'm saying, man. You guys don't think. You want to react and then wait until a few years later and be like, you know what? Final Fantasy 13 wasn't all that bad. Yeah, it has fucking flaws, and maybe I don't like certain characters or like this gameplay or like this and that. But overall, they had a vision, they had a passion, and they had a thrive. Do you see that with Final Fantasy VII remakes? No, they don't. This is the same company that literally told you, told the viewers, told the fan base, we don't know how much we're going to make. That's not authentic. At least with Final Fantasy 13 and other Final Fantasy games, they had a schedule. They had a timeline of how they wanted the game to be. With Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're like, we figure it out as we go. What little harm could that do? That's not the point. The point is that you're slow. If you get that reference, you deserve a cookie. It's from the Gotham TV show. Seriously. What a literal butler is gonna do? That's not the point. The point is that you're slow. You're soft. You know? So I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you guys think down below. You can disagree with me all you want, and that's fine. Or you can agree with me too. That's fine too. I just want to discuss Final Fantasy. I love this franchise to death. Right? It's the reason why I made my freaking game the way it is. And it's the reason why I still have a passion for RPGs in general, man. You know, it is sad. Well, you probably couldn't say it's not sad. When Final Fantasy started dropping off for me, at least for me, I looked at other alternatives. Dragon Quest was one of them. I love Dragon Quest. But now that I'm seeing it dropping off too, because Square Enix is not giving a fuck, because I'm just seeing the writing on the wall with Dragon Quest, I'm pushing back. I don't even know what Dragon Quest 12 is going to be. And I think, to me, I think Dragon Quest 12 is going to be MMO. That's just me. They're taking way too long with this game. And I feel like it's just going to be an online service. So, there you go. And with Final Fantasy, there's nothing there for me anymore. So I had to go to Shin Megami Tensei. And ever since I played Shin Megami Tensei, I haven't looked back. Shin Megami 5 or Shin Megami 5 Vengeance, I haven't looked back. You mean to tell me Square Enix couldn't look at all these other gameplay styles from different RPGs, for example, like Expedition 33, and they couldn't be like, we got it now. How come we couldn't have a gameplay style that has a mix of Expedition 33 and Shin Megami Tensei? Are you kidding me? I will literally kiss that game's ass. I'm dead serious. If that game existed, or it does exist, let me know. Because I will kiss the feet that it walks in. I don't care if the characters are crap. I don't care if the soundtrack is crap. I don't care if the game is fucking only 5 minutes long. You have that type of gameplay style? I'm in. I'm fucking in. I'm in. I'm deep in. Right? Because people seem to forget too. Gameplay makes the game. Not the story. It does help. And the soundtrack does help too. Majority of the soundtrack and gameplay. Yes, those two do help. But the story and the characters, they're there. They could be there. But it is important too to have those characters. But hey, sometimes, look at Mario. Mario doesn't have a true character development. Not if you play the other games and figure out how he is. But if you play the first Mario game, he doesn't have character development. He's just a fucking plumber that is in this fantasy world, jumping through pipes, jumping on mushrooms, characters and freaking turtle characters to fight a giant fucking breathing dragon turtle. You know? Me just explaining you to that, literally in your mind or some other people's mind, they'll be like, that actually sounds stupid and dumb. It does. It sounds stupid and dumb. A plumber going to a fantasy world, jumping on mushrooms and turtles and fighting a giant turtle? That sounds a stupid fucking concept. That sounds stupid. That sounds fucking idiotic. But yet, it's the most famous video game of all time. You know? I'm telling you, man, you can grab stupid concepts. You can grab good concepts. It's all about the execution. It's all about the execution. And some people might look at the execution and maybe it didn't do well or didn't do as much as it should. But people start realizing, especially if it gets like a cult following, starts realizing, hey, it does have passion, it does have heart, and it does have a mindset of like, this is what I wanted to do. And that's fine. That's how games should be. But yet you don't see that with Final Fantasy VII Remake at all. You know? And Square Enix talking to Sandfall Interactive, the people that made Expedition 33, what are you going to learn from them, Square? You're not going to take anything from them. Because you think you're bigger than them anyways. So why is Sandfall Interactive interacting with you? just to get that little, you know, like, oh, you did a good job, partner. It's not worth it, especially from Square Enix. If it was the 90s Square Enix or the 2000 Square Enix, then I would have, you know, probably accepted it a little bit more. But 2026 Square Enix? 2025 Square Enix? No, man. It's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. It sucks, man. It does. That's just me, man. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And tell me what you guys think down below. Seriously. So, peace out.